Go into the blessing now over the Torah. Okay, we're going to enter into making Birchas HaTorah, which we said was one of the reasons why the temple was destroyed, is we weren't making this blessing. What does that mean? That sounds intense. The answer is that we were learning a lot of Torah, but we were learning for the wrong reasons. We weren't learning the Torah to have the kiss like we talked about last night from God. We were learning the Torah as like an academic exercise because it makes you smart. In South Korea they learn Talmud. Everybody knows the Jews have some secret. It's called the Talmud. But even if you're learning the Torah, but you're learning it just as an academic, acrobatic exercise, you could even pull God out of the Torah, and God will pull himself away from having divine protection. And therefore, because we were not learning the Torah for the right reasons, we weren't learning it to have that intimate relationship with you, Hashem. So that was the reason why we lost the Beis HaMikdash, because the Beis HaMikdash is the intimate meeting point where heaven and earth kiss. The Beis HaMikdash is where you see the intimate kiss of heaven and earth. That's why there was miracles all day in the Beis HaMikdash. There's 10 ongoing miracles. There was no question when you came to the Beis HaMikdash that God is real, God is here. We saw it. We felt it. And there's no question that God is real when you learn the Torah with Hashem. But when you stop saying Birchas HaTorah, when you stop putting the emotion into the Torah and the love into the Torah, so the Torah just becomes hollowed out. And therefore we lost the Beis HaMikdash, we lost that relationship. So saying Birchas HaTorah, we're going to bring back the relationship. So let's begin. We say Baruch Ato Hashem. The word Baruch means
blessed.
So in one way it does mean blessed or blessed. But I think many people have a hard time with all blessings in general, because they have this like thing in their head, like there's some complex, like what's up with like blessing God? Like he needs my blessing. He's like down on himself. He needs to like shoot him some blessings. There's like some complex with, we have to grovel and he's like, bring the blessings to me. So I want to deepen your understanding of the word Baruch. Baruch means I am able to recognize, Hashem, that you are the source of all blessing. Baruch is a meditative experience of entering into a state of consciousness where I could feel and tap into the reality that you are the source of all blessing, that you are the address, that everything that I need. Baruch is the same word as Burecha, which means a giant pool. That this huge pool of blessing, that you're, so to speak, the source, and all of it is flowing down. Do you know what your knees are called? Your brechayim. Livroach means the knees are the part of you which bend down. And therefore, when I say the word Baruch, I imagine the brecha, this brecha liona, this great, great, infinite ocean of blessing. And I'm being livroach, I'm causing that ocean of blessing to come down like a giant waterfall. And I'm acknowledging that all the blessing, everything that I want is coming from you. That's why you'll notice when you say the word Baruch in many places, you bend your knees. You're, so to speak, allowing that flow. You're under the waterfall. You've been under a powerful waterfall? You're allowing that flow to come down. So when you say Baruch, there's a meditation involved. You're bringing the blessing through all the spiritual worlds. That's Baruch. Ata is that's all you, Hashem. That you're that source. And then Hashem, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, is absolute compassion. And you're doing this all because of compassion. Elokeinu, you're our God. We have a relationship with you. It's not foreign to me, it's Elokeinu, it belongs to us. Melech ha'olam. And not only you only up there, but you're also the Melech down here. You're the boss, Hashem. And I'm proclaiming that, I'm acknowledging that you're the Melech down here. What I just gave you, you could apply to every single bracha, because it starts, Baruch Ato Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. Apply the last 4 minutes into your consciousness every single time you make a bracha. Now let's go into the details of Birchas HaTorah. Asher Kiddushanu. I think you might get an art scroll that you sanctified us. Asher means also Osher. You gave us riches. Osher. Asher, the Aleph and Ayin can also be interchanged. The Osher, you gave us riches. How? Kiddushanu, that you became my beloved. Kiddushanu means you became my spouse. Hareat mekudeshasli. Hashem, through your mitzvahs, b'mitzvahisav, through your mitzvahs, I'm becoming married to you. I'm bonding myself. Mitzvah also means, like Rabbi Dov Ber always talks about, savsa, which means to be bonded. Like it says in the Zohar, I'm becoming bonded to you through the mitzvahs. Every time that you do a mitzvah, you're gluing yourself to God, which is really what marriage is you're bonding, you're gluing yourself. Marriage is when two become one. Marriage is when we go from me to we. So remember that one. Marriage is going from me to we. Everything is such a me world. Marriage is going from me to we. Like the famous story of Aryeh Levine, the great tzaddik of Yerushalayim, that he one time came to the doctor, he was with his wife, and he says, Doctor, one of our 4 feet hurt. We together, we have 4 feet, and there's one of them that hurt. What do you mean? No, your wife's foot hurts. No. One of our 4 feet hurt. Even though I wouldn't try this on day one with your wife. What do you mean one of our 4 feet? Come on, you're not that bonded to me yet. But you want to get later in life to such a place that one of our 4 feet hurt. Because there's only one person here. And really through the mitzvahs, you get to a place where you're bonding with God. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvahisa vitzivanu. Even deeper bonding, vitzivanu. Means commanded, but it means bonded. You bonded us. How? Lasoik b'divrei Torah. You bonded us to you by not just learning Torah, by being involved in Torah. Lasoik means you're involved. When people are working in business, they have like an ASIC. What's your ASIC? Like, what are you dealing with? What are you involved in? Watch business guys all day long. They're dealing with business. All day in business. What's the Jew's business? God. All day long. And in which way? Torah. A Jew always has to have some piece of Torah on his mind, that if somebody stops you in the street, Tavi, what's on your mind? Tell me a piece of Torah. You shouldn't be able to be, al tegamgin, ala oimer lo miyad. Don't stumble. You have to be able to say immediately, this is what's on my mind. This is the sugya, this is the topic, this is what Rabbi Elsen just taught me. This is what Rabbi Bruckheimer just taught me. This is what Zucker just taught me. I'm in it. I'm walking around my business. You ask a businessman, what are you dealing with in business? He'll tell you on the spot, I'm dealing with this thing. A yid, what's our business? Torah. All the time you have to have something on your mind. Yes, Tavi.
Okay, so the thesis is we didn't have the intention in the heart, and we weren't saying our brachas. So God sent Roman legions to take away our temple because we didn't deserve it anymore. Then why do we? I don't understand. Why do we celebrate? If this is God's lesson to us, who are unworthy of this connection to Him, then why do we even? What's this 3-week period for? Like, why do we even? If we're saying that we deserve this, and
we do, but we want to fix it. We want to fix this. God does. It's like God got married to us at Mount Sinai. Just because there's tough stuff in the relationship, and there's turmoil in the relationship, you don't just say, it's over. Get a divorce. Excuse me? You can have turmoil. Better not. When challenges happen in a relationship, the couple has to work through stuff. And then you know what happens? It's a very interesting thing. God gave us an example of this that humanity knows. I'm going to tell you something that humanity knows this truth. And what's that truth? That when couples get into fights, and hopefully they're mature enough to go through it, they get closer to each other after the fight than they were. What do you mean? Didn't the fight damage us forever? It damned us, excuse my language. It put a blemish that can never be undone. But somehow we see that as long as the couple can get through it, they're brought even closer than they were before. It's a very interesting thing.
Couples will fight over who's supposed to pick up the laundry that day. You're saying that...
I hope they don't fight about those things, but sadly, yeah, people bicker about all sorts of things.
But I just feel like, okay, so
this was a fight of...
So he sent
this is a fight of
hell to us?
Well, this is being unfaithful.
How's it unfaithful?
Because what is life all about?
Getting closer to Hashem.
Closer to God, and which is the ultimate pleasure. What if I start seeking pleasure in other areas?
That's not what they were doing. They just weren't. That's
what we were doing. We were disinterested. We were looking for honor through the Torah. We were looking to become famous. We were looking for relationships in other areas.
Is this because we had a temple where we could connect closer?
Even at the time of the temple, it started to become corrupt, as we know. People started buying out the high priest position.
Right.
It became corrupted until the point where the temple was all but gone. This is important to know. The Roman legions didn't destroy the temple. We did, spiritually. The Roman legions just came and there was a house of cards, and they just flicked the house of cards and everything came tumbling down. We destroyed it. Because we left that relationship with God. And therefore, our whole life is about getting this relationship back. Being faithful again to God. It's all about fixing the relationship. Yeah?
I just want to know, back then, so was the Kohanim, ones still in for it? Or was it, were they responsible? Because if they were, responsible for the Mikdash, were they responsible for, the destruction of it?
The Kohanim are the leaders of the Jewish people, and they're responsible for being the teachers of the Jewish people, and therefore they were held with certain responsibility because they need to be teaching people. And we do find in places that they're held culpable if there's lack of learning in certain areas because they need to be teaching the Jews. The Kohanim have a great responsibility. And yes, they're with great, who is that, Spidey? With great power comes great responsibility? Okay, I guess Spidey was learning some Torah on that one, because it's true. We just say it in the words of King Solomon, Zel umazeh asa lakim. With great power means that there's another side that could pull, and therefore be very, very careful. The more powerful you are, the more the dark forces are going to try to pull you. Yeah, Ari.
Are you saying that when you seek out stronger personal or romantic relationships through the Torah, that is inherently bad in and of itself, or just it would be bad if you did that without also seeking a more meaningful relationship with Hashem?
Let me ask you, is there any intimate romantic relationships that Hashem is not a part of?
No. In theory, no, because He's everything.
He's everything. He only created a system called false gods where you could seek what you think is going to be an intimate romantic relationship away from God. But that world is the world of illusion. And therefore, even though a person is feeling good, is feeling intimate, is feeling romantic, it has a self-destruction. Like one of these, this message will self-destruct, like a 007 thing. At a certain point, it starts to feel very lonely. Because if God was not there, it's very lonely. It's very, very lonely. And it brings anxiety. Remember I told you earlier today, the Yetzer Hara, Rabbi Nachman from Breslov has an amazing Torah. That the more that I tell myself this, it's all from me just to hear it. That the Yetzer Hara came to a person and he said, "Nah, I've got something. You want to come? You want to see what it is? Come. And you're like, what is it? What is it? You were doing something. Like, come. Like, what is it? And you're walking through Times Square and he said, come. Follow me. Let's go. Getting out of the way, pushing people, come. Let's go. He's like, what is it? Oh, sure, you come. You want to see the goods? He takes him to this building, kind of on the 50th floor. Come. What is it? What are you going out the building? It locks the door behind you. Come. You want to see? And you open it, and there's nothing in his hand. And now you're locked in with the Yetzer Hara, and he's like, I fooled you.
So true.
Right? I lured you into something. And even though he like hyped you, and even made you feel like excited along the way, you're like going through like people, and it's like, VIP, and you're going, whoa, where are we going? And all of a sudden, at the end, there's nothing. So that's what I'm saying. Is there any romance at the end of the story? Or he shows you it wasn't going anywhere. Whereas, if you seek intimacy and romance with God, and by the way, that can mean with your wife, that can mean in your learning, that can mean with your friends, to have good friends. How many people could think in their mind right now that they have good friends that they could have real emotional conversations with? Not as many as we probably should. Even one. I call it having a life chavrusa. You should start to think, do I have anybody that I could just talk about life to? Not a rabbi, not a mentor, not your therapist, a friend that you could just open up in an emotional way. So much of friendships is just like banter and yo mama type of stuff. What is that? Where did all the just intimate friendships go?
So is an intimate friendship like that on the same level of pleasure as when we talk about directly connecting to Hashem? Or is like
the highest is going to, every pleasure will always get better with Hashem. And the ones that are lacking Hashem eventually has a self-destruct. The person who's eating tray food, I'm not going to tell him he's not enjoying the cheeseburger. I'm not going to tell him that. But I will tell him in the end it's not going to be good. I'll tell him that something's going to happen, that's going to start to darken your soul. And it's not going in a good way. I won't tell you that it doesn't taste good. But I want you guys to have asher kiddushanu, romance, vitzivanu, absolute bonding, cleaving to God. How? Lasoik b'divrei Torah, through being involved. That kol hayom hisichasi. You know what King David says? King David was the greatest Jew. We love King David. The whole world loves King David. The whole world is King David. And he's going to be the Mashiach. King David, he was a king, poet, warrior, romantic, everything. And even though the Gemara teaches us that he used to have to spend time with other kings and stuff, and they would talk about all their war victories and things that like kings talk about, and they're all flexing, proverbially. This conquer and this thing, and King David is sitting in the corner just learning a Tosfos, learning Gemara. He's like, I'm not interested in this stuff. I have to be the king, so I'll be the king. But listen to the words of King David. Ma ahavti seirasecha. Hashem, I love your Torah so much. You want to know what a sign of somebody who loves Torah so much? Kol hayom hisichosi. All day long, all I do is talk about it. A guy, how do you know what he likes? Just listen to what he talks about all day long. Did you see that home run? Did you see that? Did you see the stock? Did you see Bitcoin? Did you see? I see what you're into. If you love God, all day long, Torah is on your lips. Torah is on your lips. We should really be lovers of God. Amen. Kol Tuv. Have an easy, meaningful fast. Kol Tuv.
appreciate you.
Thank you.